Hey, what's going on? My name's Chris Winter and today I'm going to do a review on the Canon 24mm f2.8 STM lens. Now this is a pretty new lens and if you're watching this video you're probably pretty interested in it, and for good reason. It is a fantastic lens. So I thought I would share some samples with you, do some tests on it and pretty much do a general overview of this fantastic little Pancake lens. Now before we get into it, I'm going to be giving away 2 of these lenses to a subscriber. So if you want to win 2 of these lenses, or 1 of them, 2 if you're really lucky, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button. But let's get into it and first take a look at the build quality. So let's take a look at the build quality of this Canon 24mm f2.8 STM lens. Now this is a Pancake lens, which means it is really tiny. When you get this in your hand, you have trouble believing that they can make a lens this small. But don't let its size fool you. This is a very nice feeling lens. It feels quite solid. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but not a lot. Now if we compare it to something like this, which is the Sigma 30mm f1.4 lens, you can see just how small it is. And the Sigma is thought to be quite a small lens normally. It's got a fantastic focus ring, very smooth. Fantastic for cinematographers and videographers alike, but you've got to remember this is an STM lens, so it will autofocus really well in video anyway. It's also got a metallic mount, which is a really nice thing because it might hold up a little bit better over time. Other than that, it's got a 52mm lens cap, so if you're looking for a lens cap or you're looking for a UV filter, you're only going to need to buy a 52mm one, and they're quite inexpensive. So the Canon 40mm f2.8 STM Pancake lens, which came before this, was known to be a pretty sharp lens, especially if you knocked it down to around about f4. So what I'm going to do now is take this 24mm lens and we're going to do some tests to see just how sharp it is. So I've got a few things here on my table which I'm going to take a few photos of and we'll see just how they turn out. So I'm going to be shooting this at f4. And some of the first things that I've noticed is just how quick it is to focus. What I'll do now is actually just knock this down to f2.8 and we'll see just how it works. It's still very fast to focus and it seems to be getting some very nice shots. Now this lens is an STM lens, which means it's got a stepping motor, which is meant to be really good for video autofocus. I've used a few different STM lenses and they do generally work really well. The 40mm STM didn't work as well as the 18 to 135, so I'm hoping that this 24mm will work as well as that other lens. So what I've got here are a few different objects which I'm going to try and autofocus on, and we'll see just how quick and how smoothly, which is really important, this lens works. Okay, so I've got it set to spot focus autofocus mode, which I really think works the best. And as you can see, as I move from object to object, it is moving really slowly and nicely, and it's focusing very cinematically. No problems whatsoever with the focus, and every time it's hitting it. It's also incredibly silent, so I've got to say that this Canon 24mm is working really well. Just a quick reminder, if you want to win 1 of 2 Canon 24mm lenses, I'm giving away 2 to subscribers, so all you've got to do to enter is click the subscribe button. Let's get to the next part. Now one of the coolest features of this lens is actually its minimum focus distance. It's only 16 centimeters. Now traditionally we do use a long lens for macro shots, but this one works really quite well. As I'll show you with these flowers, just look how close you can get. You can get some really nice macro shots and the detail is fantastic. It is a sharp lens. Now I'll show you with these matches just how close you can actually get. Get even a little bit closer. And the detail on there is really nice. So that is definitely one of the positives. So just as I did for video, I'm also going to test out the autofocus performance on stills. So I've got a few different items lined up here on my desk and we'll just test out just how quick it is to lock onto each different item. As you can hear, there's no hunting, absolutely no problems locking onto each of these items. It's incredibly quick. So generally for a relatively wide angle lens like this one here at 24mm, it can be quite difficult to get some nice background blur or bokeh. But the cool thing about this lens is that because it's at f2.8, which is a relatively wide aperture, you can actually get some nice bokeh effects. So I'll take a photo right here. You do actually have to be quite close to the subject to get some really nice background blur, but it's definitely possible. Now if you take a look at that photo, you can see that the background is pretty much all blurred out, and you're getting some nice effects with it. It's not an ugly bokeh. It's quite smooth, it's quite creamy, and I'm pretty impressed with it. Another really cool thing is that if you get really close, you can actually get a very, very blown out shot. So if we take a look at this little guy here, again, that minimum focus distance really comes in handy because that shot is pretty much all centered on him and the background is completely blown out. Now this works of course for video as well, but I've got to say that you can definitely get some nice blurry bokeh shots with this Canon 24mm. So there you go guys, that was my review on the Canon 24mm lens. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up because it really helps. And why don't you subscribe, because I do plenty of cool photography stuff, videography videos, DIY tips, tutorials, lots of fun stuff. And we've got a really cool community on here. It's a lot of fun. And of course you could go into the draw to win one of these two lenses. Someone's got to win it, so it could be you. All you could do is click subscribe. Other than that, hope you guys have a fantastic holidays. Be safe. Be happy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. By the way guys, if you haven't seen it already, I've actually made a couple more Canon 24mm STM videos for you to watch. So if you want to check out any of them, all you need to do is click right now on one of the videos and that will take you there. Make sure to check out my full review because I've added lots of other things and some samples. So plenty of stuff for you to watch, and have a fantastic day. See ya.